My name's Alan.
My name is Steven.
We're called Joan.
I remember the posters on your wall, Zeppelin and Death Cab editions.
It was an option for a previous band I was in college, and they didn't like it, and I did, and I just hung on to it after, like, while we did that band, and just like in case I did another band. And so whenever we got together, that was like kind of top of my list. Alan didn't love it that much at first. It didn't make sense to him, but I think once we started combining design with the music, and kind of it became the personality kind of the music that we were creating and felt right. And so like the logos that I started bringing up and making for it, it started to feel right for the band. So it's kind of a boring story, but it, the visual side and the music side have always been, the most, just as important as each other. And so it kind of was a big part of like the first, just to make it like, we want the design of this band to look really good, and it looked really good with the, music that we were making. So,
And it's just easy to remember.
there
Joan.
you go.
That very much.
That's the shorter answer.
Almost made it through a whole day.
We were so song by song based when we started. Like, we got together to write. We actually got together to write originally for film and TV licensing stuff. Like, I was in that world a little bit, had some cuts on like commercials and stuff like that. And he was out of college and was like, hey, I want to do music full time. I was like, let's write together. And we wrote our first single called Take Me On that very first day. Unbeknownst to us, it was going to be our first single. But we were so song by song basis. So like it was easier to curate because we would write, 6 songs in a few months. And then it was just like, okay, well, maybe this is the first EP. And then that all kind of became the first EP. And then we started after that getting a little bit more methodical about like, okay, we're not just going to write song by song, we're going to write in packages. And so we did EPs for the first, 3 or 4 kind of album cycles, if you will. It really wasn't until SuperGlue, our debut album that we just released, that we were trying to think thematically and having like a thread that kind of goes through the whole thing. And the songs definitely evolve even on the album. There's like some more poppy stuff. There's a little bit more like organic band, rock pop songs. Pop rock sounds so like Blink 182. I don't mean it like that, but like no disrespect to them, I love them. But kind of like Oasis vibes back in the day, that kind of thing. We're just like, I want to write songs that could be played with just an acoustic or just a piano, and it hits you the same. So anyway, with that in mind, it was like production didn't become secondary, but it definitely it was about the songs first, and that's what happened with SuperGlue. And I feel like we finally kind of hit our stride on finding like a cohesive thread on this album. We kind of pride ourselves on being all over the map stylistically. Sometimes it's all pop music, but it's like this song may have like a Doobie Brothers vibe to it, and this song may have like an MJ vibe to it, and we kind of are students of like our parents' radio. So like what I grew up on was Prince and Michael Jackson and Bob Seger and James Taylor. Like it was the 90s country. It was the gamut. So we kind of try to take the things we love about all of that and try to make like a cohesive, what is Joan. So
Passing downtown, going home now. Grass is so much greener there.
Was a big part of kind of the inspiration when we started writing was just like, let's take some inspiration from music that we listened to growing up or what our parents listened to, and kind of grab that feeling of the music that sticks with us, through today. So I think that subconsciously probably sticks with us still, like more than just like the song elements maybe, or more than the inspiration. Like why does that song that I listened to growing up, why did it make me feel that way? And so we try to make that happen, with the music we're creating kind of today. So yeah, I definitely think so.
an early inspo for us on that note was like Don Henley, Boys of Summer. Every time the drum loop comes in, the Lin drum, and then the guitar, that, and then you hear the synth, the da-da-da. Those, like, intervals, even melodically, like, to this day, give me, like, chills. And I'm like, why? What is it about the movement of the notes? And so we figured out, oh, it's a 1-7-5, and, like, you just figure out the scale degrees, and you're like, okay, that movement does something for me. So how do we take that and make it our own? And so we early on recognized that music affected us. I think when I was like 11 I really started listening to music more scientifically, more than just, leisurely. And we've been trying to find that feeling ever since, I think. So. I probably, even more than Steven, have been a bit laser focused, probably to a fault sometimes, on like, oh man, is the jump from this song to this song, or this EP to this EP, too drastic? Because I've had bands that I love that, like, release their debut thing, and then by the time you get to the sophomore album, you're like, whoa, this is like, it's almost, as a fan, you're almost like, it's too different. Where did my favorite band go, kind of thing? So I think I don't want us to be a victim of that. At the same time, I think because we've been so song by song based, it's kind of allowed us a little more freedom between single to single. Like, it's almost expected that Joan may throw a little curveball, but it's still hopefully going to sound like Joan. And I think the best example of that for me is Coldplay. I love Coldplay. Chris Martin is the ultimate songwriter for me, inspiration. And, like, listening to Rush of Blood to the Head, or in any of the old, like, starting out with Yellow to now, I mean, he had a song featuring Jay-Z. Like, if you listen to Yellow and then think, hey, in like 15 years, we're going to feature Jay-Z, it doesn't compute just based on style difference.
Yeah.
But they evolved over time, and it worked, and it still sounds like Coldplay. And
yeah.
So.
And I think for us too, a really good example is the album. Like, if we released the album and that was the first thing we had put out, and then we released like a One More Touch or a Tokyo or something, it would feel like completely different. But because we had the 3-4 years of releasing and having the mindset of like, let's take this song by song, even if it's completely different vibe wise from this single to the next single, or this EP to the next EP. Like, when you listen to Nervous on the record and then you compare it to like a Flowers, it feels way different sonically, but it feels very Joan because you've heard that
from us
thing before from us before, and it feels consistent with us. And I'm very proud of that on the record. I don't think we could have done that on the record without us being a band and releasing singles for several years before that. So yeah, it feels like it's a good evolution, and it still feels very.
Wanna say what I feel, but I can't right now, 'cause I don't wanna mess this up when you're around. I don't know how to not freak out, 'cause you make me nervous, and now I'm slurring my words, and it's like you do it on purpose, and I twist the chain on my necklace, try not to throw up my breakfast, and
Say this, the songs that we're sitting on right now, which we probably have 5 that I'm like all in on, 10 that I'm like in total that I'm like, okay, it could be an album. It's definitely more pop than even this album is, probably. Just like sonically speaking, it's a little more synth driven, a little more like, programmed drums. There's not like a lot of, but it's also in demo land. So I mean, like we could still shift it to that, but I'm interested to see, because we have set now a precedent on our first album of what there's going to be a lot of new fans that are just now hearing Joan. They're like, oh, this is your debut album. This is what you sound like. That maybe haven't dove into the previous stuff and haven't found, I Loved You First, or One More Touch, one of the more poppy things. So I'm curious to see, like, if we shift the gears a little bit and lean more into the, like, I don't want to say top 40, but let's just say top 40 pop thing, then it's like, what will people think? I think because of the precedent we've already set, it's okay. It's gonna be cool. But I mean, I can't predict that, I guess. Yeah. But I don't really. But at the same time, I don't really care. Like, I want people to love the music, and I want us, like, it's like the fan service thing. Like, we do write music for our fans, but we also write music because we just love music, and I want to get the same feeling when I we do that keys part and it gives me the chills. Like, I want people to experience that with us, and we're never going to give a song that doesn't do that to us. So I'm like, hopefully it doesn't really matter in the end. If that feeling is there, whatever the production is, doesn't really matter. I mean, we're never going to do like Rage Against the Machine, vibes. I love it.
Don't count it
no,
out.
that's true. Yeah. Love it, but that's just not probably in us to do that,
Yeah. That's also maybe one of my favorite parts of being in a band is like not knowing what's next.
Which scares me so
knowing
much.
It can be really great, but like just having just like that total mystery around it and kind of living in that and being like, I don't know what's next, but I'm excited to see what happens. And we're so deep right now still in the kind of record album cycle of SuperGlue, so it feels a little bit tough to like fast forward to that record, but also you're always kind of thinking like, what is album 2 going to be like? Where do we go from here? So
and we produced it all
crazy.
ourselves, so it's like it's on us. At the end of the day, I mean, we can partner with people we love, and we do that some, but that's kind of the scary part to me is like it's really up to us in the end of the day, like what happens. So.
Yeah.
And I can't get you out of my head. Yeah, it's relatively obvious that I'm not over you. But I'm trying to get over you every single day.
Alan is definitely like on the production side. It's like even sometimes in mix it will be like, oh, maybe it does need that extra layer there or something. But
Yeah.
I would also say we're both pretty good about that. I think we're pretty good at knowing when it feels right enough to send it to mix. We're lucky that our mix engineer, he's a really good friend of ours, and he'll tell us too. Like he'll put his ear on it and be like, hey, this actually needs that one extra thing, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
We were kind of hearing that too, so that's good.
His name's Matt Huber. He's incredible. He's actually here in LA now. He was in Nashville, but example of that, our song on this record, Don't Want to Be Your Friend, like the chorus synth stabs were just like stabs, like on the downbeats of each chord change. And he was like, hey, I've got an idea. What if it like sidechain swelled? It's like giving it a little bit more of a feel. And I was like, try it. Send me a bounce. And sure enough, that's like what made that was like the last missing piece. And that happened at mix. So we're all tweaking till the end, I guess.
All these memories in my head keep playing over again.
For a long time, the album, like the working title of the album was called Life, Death, and Everything Between, based off of like a poem that I'd written a while back and that we kind of had worked into a song. And we were just like, it felt like an intro because it was like asking tons of questions and kind of just like bigger questions about life and death and everything between. and we the day we wrote the song SuperGlue was with a friend of ours. Her name's Flurry. That was kind of just the moment where we're like, okay, that's the album. That's like the answer to the questions we're asking. It ties it all together. So that's kind of the front and end of the album, kind of the bookends, if you will. But SuperGlue is just like, the whole idea of it is just when I don't know really what the answers are, like you're keeping me together. At its simplest form, that's kind of what it means. And it just feels really beautiful to us and feels really meaningful. We both have little 1.5-year-old girls and wives at home that they're our super glue, and we wanted to create something that could mean something to anybody. Like everybody has someone in their life that is keeping them together at times, and so it felt like a really cool kind of narrative to put together. So
Well said.
thanks.
1, 2, 3, 4. I slept so good last night. Woke up feeling so fine. I got you by my side. We got something special. You're my source of light. Yeah, I was so deprived. Yeah, now I'm feeling alright. And we got
we put a lot of effort into making, no matter the size of the room, a stadium level show in our minds. I'm playing to a stadium in my head, even if it's for 500 people. So we try to give the best pot. We leave it all out there, that's for sure. This tour, we have two of our best buds on tour with us. Normally it's just a two-piece, and we just, we play with tracks, and I'm playing guitar and keys, and he's playing drums, and we'll do like a strip section where he comes up and plays keys. But this tour, we were like, SuperGlue feels like the right time to level up and get some support on stage. So a good buddy of ours, Noah, is playing he's playing all the keys parts and some guitar. And then our buddy Levi is playing drums most of the time. And him and Steven switch off some bass and drums. And Steven's been on the bass this tour.
Been ripping bass.
Ripping bass.
Feels good.
And I'm on
man.
guitar and singing. But yeah, I mean this humbly. For us, it's the best Joan show we've ever put together.
Totally.
I'll let the fans be the judge of that in the end. But we're having the most fun we've ever had on live stuff. So
We're locked in right now. It's feeling really really
good.
good.
A good show to be at. So. Yeah, we have
about a week,
week and a half left. Yeah, 10 days. Well, we'll go home. SuperGlue is still doing well for us and like a radio campaign right now. So we're crossing fingers with that and seeing what happens. I think album cycle, we're still kind of in the thick of it for a little bit. We'll go home, rest. I leave literally the day after our last show in Little Rock, our hometown, for Switzerland for 10 days on a vacation with my wife. He's going to the beach with his family pretty soon after tour, kind of rest and recuperate. And then, honestly, we'll probably put our heads down and start working on album 2 pretty quick. Honestly, because we're crazy and we can't stop.
Yeah.
Like, we got too many songs in our head, and we got to just, like, get it down.
I mean, what else are we gonna do?
What else are we gonna do?
But yeah, we'll tour more in the fall, and it's like we have a few months, and we can't just chill. We're like, we have to go back to work, and we might as well figure out what it's gonna be. So
our studios are literally my bedroom and a bedroom in his house. So it's like we're home already. Like we'll just work during the day and then chill at night.
Yeah.
So.
2 a.m. I'm freaking out. Heard that you were back in town. Well, I don't wanna sit through coffee, feeling like I'm out of body every time you come around.
Alan is very, very, very good at hook ideas. Like he can just hear the hook in his head before the song has even started, and that song start that like basically puts a fire under you to like get a song going. He's very good at making those. And then I think my strength is definitely not there. Like kind of gluing it together and putting narrative into it and helping finish the song is my strength. So we work really well that way.
Yeah, it's a great partnership. Yeah.
Don't say you love me if you don't love me. Don't say you need me if you don't mean it. I played it this for all on my own, so let me know.
Or at Songs by Joan on everything: Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook,
if
TikTok,
yeah.
YouTube.
You can go to songsbyjoan.com.
Yeah.
YouTube. We're at Songs by Joan. We're at Songs by Joan on everything.
Yeah.
I think on everything.
Songs by Joan.
Hey, we are Joan, and you've just been buzzed.